Okay. Well, really good finish to the game on Saturday, and I was proud of our guys as that game really became really competitive in the fourth quarter, down late in the fourth quarter, and forced them to kick field goals, which was really, really big, and then go on a 6-minute and 53-second drive and cap it with a touchdown that solidified the win. And so finding ways to win is what's most important in a football season, and games that are close and competitive. You got to find ways to win, and when you can find ways to win close games as the season goes on, you're going to have a really good year. And I'm sure we'll have other games that are similar to that, possibly competitive down to the wire, and hopefully we gain confidence through through this one. And as we lead into this week, Air Force Week, it's fun. There's a different feel around the office and in the meetings early this morning, in my meetings with the captains, and you can tell it's Mountain West time. It's time for what we really are, playing for, and goals and aspirations in terms of playing well in this league and going to try to find a way to win a championship. And it starts with this week with Air Force, and they're 2-0, rested, coming off a bye week, and a really senior-laden team. As I look at this team of Air Force, of Coach Calhoun's, it's first of all, a very successful program and a winning program, and those guys have experienced winning and success for many years, and they do a good job. But I see a senior-dominated team. Guys, I look at the defensive depth chart, and there's 8 seniors, I think, starting, 4 backups that are seniors. I look at the offense, and I know Romine started at the beginning of the year before he got hurt, but you look at the tight end, the fullback, both wideouts, Owens. Those guys have all played. They're older, very mature team on both sides of the ball. Both backers have impressed me. They're both juniors, I think, and have played very good. They're very active, and they're good. Stillhammer has been there for a long time. It seems like he's been playing probably since he got there. Seems like we've seen him a lot. Very active, smart, headsy, free safety, blitzes well, good in coverage. And so I could go on and on about these guys, but you know a lot about them. You've seen them for now that we're in the league in our 4th year, and I'm just impressed. Veterans, seniors, and guys with a lot of experience. So it should be a really good game, and we're looking forward to it. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up.
How does a bye help a team in general, and maybe specifically what you see from Air Force?
I think, Steve, that's a good question. Buys come, first of all, we can't predict when buys come in our schedule. All we do, and just like Air Force and everybody else, you schedule your non-conference games, and then you send that into the league, and they shuffle it up, and you get your league games. For instance, our first year in the Mountain West, my first year as a head coach, we played Air Force game 2, and then we went on and played a few non-league games. So them getting their bye week 3, I don't know. You would have to ask them. Sometimes it comes at a time where you're kind of banged up and hurt. You've had some really physical, close games, and it comes at a good time physically. Sometimes it can come at a time where you have a rhythm, and you're kind of rolling, and you're like, dang, I don't want to get off schedule. It's like Al's golf game, when he's playing really good, and then he has to go on vacation for a while, and then he comes back, and it throws him off. And that's usually when I try to get him on the course. So I don't know when it comes for them. I know when ours is and all that, but I'm going to tell you, they'll be rested. They'll be fresh, and they had extra week prep for us. So, I'm sure that comes in handy for them.
My golf game is always gone. Okay. But,
that's not true, Mr. Lewis.
Where did your, did you anticipate, obviously you always do anticipate, but that fourth quarter drive that you got, you had not had a lot of really sustained good stuff in the second half offensively. What do you think, when you went back and look at the film, is there something you could see that happened different, or was that just all of just one guy or a couple of guys? Or
several guys. I think you probably hit everything. The will, desire, the need to sustain drives and stay on the field. And so I think you saw a running back running through arm tackles. He wasn't going to let the first guy bring him down. I think you saw maybe, a little bit extra push and effort up front, and a couple good runs by the quarterback and scrambling on one on the third down call in man coverage. A nice job on the option. Some great blocks by the receivers out on the perimeter. It was a little bit of everything.
They just announced Boise's 8:15. You have 4 straight games after 8 o'clock. Last week started at 7 and went almost 4 hours. Does that bother a team? I mean, it's life in the Mountain West, but does it bother a team? Does it change how you prepare? Anything like that?
We just start 1 hour later. Same routine, same schedule, same time in between, same time pre-game meal, 3.5 hours before kickoff, the brunch. We just back it up an hour. And our guys understand that there's no control over TV and when we play and weather and all those kind of things. We can't control that stuff.
Coach, is Air Force style, is it easier at the beginning of the year so that you can get it over with in a way, instead of having it in the middle of the year where it's maybe you're in a rhythm of what you're going to do defensively?
It's let me think about that. That's a fair question. I just think about the last few years. I remember year 1 we played them. We've played them in all 3 times. I mean, now that I think about this, in 13 we played them game 2. 14 we played them early October, which is maybe a couple games later than right now, mid-season. Last year we played them the second week in November. So, you're facing New Mexico, which is a different option team, although option-type responsibilities for your defense in our league. I don't think it matters. We've known the whole year and all summer when we're playing Air Force. So in terms of preparation, the preparation's already started, from an option standpoint in the spring and the summer. So sometimes when you get a couple of those teams back to back, like maybe them in New Mexico, you have a little bit more carryover. So.
You've only had 15 penalties in 3 games. Is it a point of emphasis? Was it hard in a game like Saturday when the other team seemed to be a little bit aggressive?
Yeah.
And how important is that going forward? Did you keep those down?
Steve, it's been a point of emphasis during training camp. We probably had more officials at our practices, and obviously you have them at scrimmages, but we probably had more in practices this year than we have. I think it's been a point of emphasis. I've been proud of our guys in their mental discipline and some things that I thought they held their cool really good Friday night. I thought we tried to establish who we were from whistle to whistle. That got relayed to them as the game continued to go on, and I thought our guys did a nice job. Because there's, anytime you have administrative penalties or things after the penalty after the play or before the play, those are things that are they're unnecessary, whether it's before the play or after the play, and we can control those things, and you completely take those out or minimize those, you got a chance. There's going to be some penalties that happen in between the whistles, just because of aggressive play or, whatever. But I was proud of those guys, and I think that always gives you a chance to win, and we have minimized those penalties.
Brock Harmon is the conference defensive player of the week. He's a guy I know that, he was around last year, but he was behind some guys and all that kind of stuff. You can talk about what
Yeah,
he said.
sure. I thought Brock had a really good game. Brock is a guy that can play inside and outside for us, and we'll move him around and play him at both spots. He's done a nice job of making plays out in the open field. He has so far waited his turn and played behind some all conference players and NFL guys and multiple year starters and LT Filianga. He played behind Nick and those guys, and he's kind of waited his time and really had a good off season, a good summer, and I'm proud of his efforts and performance so far as the year started. And hopefully he can maintain that as the year goes on, but I'm proud of Brock.
He was obviously a standout. Lindsey with what he did, Kent with the last drive. What other guys would you single out from this last game that played well for you?
I thought Ricky Alifua had one of his better games. He played very solid. Dallin Levitt has played well 3 straight weeks. I thought at times some of the other backers flashed, not consistent enough for me or for the rest of our defensive staff, but at times Alex Huerta played good. At times, Justice Te'i played good. Derek Larson showed up several times. Chase Christiansen showed up a few times. Those guys just need to be more consistent, and we're rotating a lot of those guys and kind of playing the hot hand as we go. But those guys are all rotating through there and playing solid and playing well. That's some of the guys that I would say. Rashad Lewis has played good. He's been consistent. Andrew Rodriguez has been consistent. Wyatt Houston's made competitive catches 2 weeks in a row now. So some of the guys that have stood out a little bit.
Coach, how do you combat the first in the nation rushing offense and fifth in total offense?
Well, I just think defensively we have to have a solid plan. We have to have a sound plan. You have to understand who has the fullback, who has the quarterback, and who has pitch every play, whether they're underneath center running, midline, triple, double, option, counter option, speed option, I mean, you name it, or in the gun, running more zone read and triple out of the gun. You just got to be very sound in your assignments. If you pressure it, when you're pressuring, you have to be sound. Guys have to be on point, and you have to tackle well. You have to have your eyes in the right spot, and you have to tackle well against a team like this.
Now that you've had the opportunity to look at film, what's one thing you need to change heading into the game against Air Force?
I still think we have to win on special teams. I don't think we've won on special teams yet. I think we played better in teams this week, but I don't think we flat out won in any of the 3 games for our standards on special teams. And I think if we do that this week, then that'll give us a much better chance of winning. But we got to continue to clean up issues that we have in the kicking game and coverage units and multiple things there. That's the biggest thing.
Defensively, you guys have struggled in the second half. Is there a reason why?
I thought we struggled in the third quarter last week. It was more third quarter. I thought the fourth quarter, I think the defense played 13 or 14 snaps. They got out of two drives where one was a shanked punt. I mean, that's a stand. I don't think that's not playing well. That's playing great in the red zone. And they force a field goal and save 4 points. They did it twice. Didn't play well in the third quarter. Just like I said after the game, we didn't have enough pressure on the quarterback, too many holes in the secondary, and that's 2 bad combinations when a team's throwing it.
Adjustments they made to how they were going to handle your pressure? Did they go attack you differently?
No, I don't.
Third quarter?
They changed maybe one thing, but I think for the most part we weren't hitting home. I think we lost a little mojo. I think they hit a few passes. They made a couple of nice catches too. We need to give them credit. I mean, they got good wideouts. I think they probably found them a quarterback, and he got hot, and they had some guys making some open catches, and they had some guys making some contested catches. So, I like the way our guys responded. Late in the third quarter and early fourth quarter when the game was really in the balance. We played well on defense, and we had a really good drive on offense and found a way to win.
I'll save my last question for the oddest one. Saturday on social media, on Twitter, one of your guys posted something that said people are focused on how cool they are when they should be focused on what film they watch and what they're doing on game day. My question is, do you monitor that stuff? Did you have a reaction to this one?
We do monitor our players on social media. We want to be very, very responsible. I have a few staff members, along with myself, that we monitor that as those goes on. I don't have a reaction to that. I think what we do right now, I mean, I would say just in listening to that comment, not even knowing who it is, but I think we have a lot of guys that care about football, and they want to make sure that we have 100% of our guys that are just like them. And that's the culture that we have right now at Utah State, and I'm very, very proud of it and doing everything that I can as a head coach and our captains and our leadership to protect that culture of being great in the classroom, in the community, but being football junkies and all the thing that goes with winning football games. It's not just about scheme, because we truly believe in our building that culture is greater than strategy, and the culture that we have and the chemistry and the leadership are the things that we're working on. And it's the same thing I thought was maybe missing just a shade last year. And sometimes when it comes down to close games, those things are the things that pull you through more than scheme or more than strategy. It's the culture and the belief of those players. And so I'm proud of those guys. Yep. Anything else?
Can you say anything about what you thought
No, I won't. I'm just going to leave it alone. That should tell you everything you need to know. You're welcome.
Thanks.